Welcome to the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship of 2016. We're bringing you live coverage from Karlstad and Löfbergs Arena, normally home of one of the top hockey teams here in Sweden, but this week transformed into an arena for elite curling. The featured matchup this evening is the game between Sweden and Austria. It's the first game for the teams in the B group. You see them all here. It's Austria, Finland, Germany, Korea, Lithuania, Slovenia, and Sweden. 6 groups and a total of 42 teams in the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championships this year. Of course, competing for the Olympic points. Here is the lineup for Sweden: Per Norén and Camilla Norén with their team coach Mikael Andersson.
For Austria, it's Sebastian Wunderer and Karina Tott, while team coach German Ulli Kapp. And rules of play, we have 2 players, 1 male, 1 female, 6 stones per team, one of them being pre-placed. 8 ends of play, 22 minutes of thinking time per team. And the player will either throw stones 1 and 5 or the stones 2, 3 and 4. And players, of course, can switch positions between ends if they feel like things aren't working. Although we see most teams keep the same positions for most of the games. Both players can sweep, and holding the broom, being the skip, is optional. No takeouts until the 4th stone of each end, so just count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stones needs to be in play before you can start hitting. And both teams will have 1 power play option per game, and can only use that when you have the last stone advantage. So that's pretty much it. There's a few new rules. It's a little bit different from regular curling, but I'm sure we'll be able to take you through it all.
I am sure we will. My name is Sara Karlsson, and I am joined by my lovely expert, Sander Röllevåg.
Well, good evening.
1 minute to the start of game.
So we have 1 minute to the start of this evening game. Sweden and Austria, I think both favorites to get out of this group, would you say, Sander?
Yeah, I think very experienced players. Karina Tott and Sebastian Wunderer have played a lot of championships, as well as the Swedes. For this game, I'd say maybe the Swedes are the favorites, though, having seen this duo play at the World Mixed Doubles on numerous occasions, actually 3 times before, so I think they'll have the more mixed doubles experience coming into the game.
Yeah, they've also been fairly busy on tour, and of course they have 3 silver medals from the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championships.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to lose 3 finals. I'm quite sure they'll be looking to get back in the final and try and win.
Yeah, definitely. And well, also Karina and Sebastian put the team together for the Nationals, and they said that they even played a competition on tour this year, so then managed to win qualification Nationals of 7 or 8 teams in Austria before coming here.
Yeah, I believe they played 2 events, one in Budapest and also one back home in Austria, which they won. So they have a mixed doubles win under their belt, as well as the championship, the Nationals.
Yeah, Swedish qualifications was a bit different this year, with this being an Olympic game now. Sweden's put together a squad of mixed doubles teams, and Per and Camilla was picked out of that squad rather than picking the Swedish champion for the year. So they will get some funding and some support to develop their game. You can also see that Sweden managed to outdraw Austria during practice, so they will have the last stone advantage. And here we go. It's Karina Tott to start the game. So what would you like to see here for the first shot?
Well, I've seen a few different tactics. If we dial it back a year, you probably see most teams try the freeze. And I think you might see teams still try the freeze at the back four. But you might see some teams choosing to keep it high, maybe top 4, top 8. But line is very important as well. Just need to keep that really right in front of your opposition stone. So this one just over curling a little bit, just leaves a big wall of pocket.
Per Norén throws stones 1 and 5 for Sweden. They normally keep it this way, so they're well trained into their positions. Previous years during Worlds, we've seen Per be very, very accurate with the freeze. But I think he'd now like to keep this in front of the tee line. And here's our first look at Sebastian Wunderer. There is still a little bit of space to get a shot stone in here.
And Sebastian's been a skip for a few years. Skipped Austria at the 2014 World Juniors, as well as a couple of European curling championships in the B group. Also played 3 European mixed curling championships, so he's been playing a lot of different things. So he has experience at this level, in this kind of setting, championship ice and international teams. So seems like Sweden are coming after the shot stone here with a hack weight.
Yep, and it's now Camilla to throw. They are choosing to have a skip rather than the 2 sweepers. I think for this sort of shot could be good. What's your opinion, Sander, on the sweeper versus skip?
Well, they made the shot, so you could say that it worked out for them. Well, this is a new rule of the year. You don't have to have a skip at the head. You can just have the sweeper next to you. But Sweden have played 3 World Mixed Doubles Championship. They all made it to the final, playing with the old rules. So they might just want to stick to their old way of playing. But I think generally I'd like a sweeper, as I wouldn't hit the broom anyway.
Guess it all depends on how you practice.
Sebastian Wunderer will make the hit and roll, but just squirt a bit too far.
And remember, Sweden has hammer in the first end. Per is asking for the same weight again from Camilla, so that would be hack board weight.
Yeah, so definitely keeping things a little more open here. And we've seen in some ends where I guess really congested around the forefoot. So making some hits and allowing some room to score. And actually trying to split all the stones here. Just the shooter rolling out.
Would have loved to have kept the shooter, but it's not too bad. Still sitting 2. Nothing really to freeze on for Austria.
All of a sudden that kind of looks like more of a regular curling end, not a million stones around the forfeit.
Ja, Linie. Fest, Baby, alles. Wow, wow, wow. Wie schnell? Andere Seite.
So coming after the stone in the back, just in behind the guard here. Switching it up, sweeping with the curl to get some extra finish. We'll make the nose hit. It's a very nice shot by Winderer.
Nice one.
Jag spelar samma fart.
Ja.
Oh, and I think we've got some red lights. Oh, so she said that she released the stone and then she touched it again, so that would be a hogline violation.
Well, that's the second hogline violation we've seen today.
In only 3 games.
Yeah.
You see there, she releases it and then gives it a little extra touch. And of course, you're not allowed to do that. And all of a sudden, it's looking a lot better for Austria.
Karina Todd has played the World Mixed Doubles on 1 occasion, back in 2009. Ended up with a 3-5 record, ranking 21st. There's a lot of teams in the mixed doubles competition, so if you don't make it to the playoffs, yeah, you're ranked all the way down there.
And, well, they've elected to play the guard, so it'll be tough for Sweden to try and score 2. Camilla pointing it to the center of the rings, and it will be a draw for 1. Per now asking her to come down to sweep it for him. Which would make sense, because it's not very crowded.
Yeah,
in the rings.
Line's not that important here, just be anywhere close. So a little bit surprised that Austria didn't want to play the hit in the back to sit too, but maybe they're just more comfortable throwing the guard, knowing that there's maybe a safer call. If you ever play the hit and roll out, well, actually the blank's not really in play in mixed doubles curling, you lose the hammer, so.
Yep, just getting Sweden to try and outdraw their yellow, and this is going to over curl, comes up short, and it will be a steal of 1 in the first end. It's looking really good for Sweden for quite a long time, and then that hogline violation, and now Austria steals 1 in the first end. There's a 1-minute break in between every end, but we will be back shortly with the second end. So, a good start for Austria. They got a steal against previous silver medalist Sweden, and it's now Karina Todd that will get started in the second end. Do you want to tell us about the other games that are going on this evening?
I would love to if there's any scores up there. We'll see. We have Denmark taking on Spain, and it's Denmark to score 2 in the first end. They lead Spain after one end of play.
Ja, eller bara
A
snedfrysa
huge
det,
score
okej.
for Finland. They score 5 on Lithuania on sheet C, so 5-0 there. And then Korea scores 3 on Germany. And the last score to be put up on the board is between New Zealand and USA. It is a score of 1 for the States.
Ja! Ja! Hur lång är den?
Ja, topp 4.
Ja.
So calling this top 4 foot.
Jag tycker jag snurrar dem ordentligt, men lik förbannat så dör curlen.
And
Man kanske snurrar ännu mer då.
Per is a little frustrated because he thinks that he is putting some spin on the stones, but they seem to lose their handles.
Yeah, well, it sort of happened on that last throw in the first end as well. Just over curled and caught the top stone. I thought they were pretty close to the weight to get it past to score, but really swinging on his out turn at the moment. I did speak to some of the players after the previous draw, and what they would find is sometimes you take more ice and will actually curl more, just as you hit more fresh pebble going further out, maybe a little bit of frost, and something the stones will grab onto and I'll get even more swing. So sometimes it's a bit tricky to find the right place to put your broom. But in general, I think the ice is pretty good. That's what I heard from the players anyway.
Yeah, the ice makers have been here for quite a few days, getting this arena ready, and I think they've all been pretty happy with how the week has gone on. Not a lot of trouble, so they seem pleased.
I think in the previous draw we were seeing splits up to about 15 seconds, hog to hog, so pretty quick.
Långt ut.
But it does get a bit tracky, but it's really hard to avoid in mixed doubles curling, so because you play pretty much all the stones down the same line, and whenever you go somewhere else, it will be a little slower. So
Ja, bara ner mot.
just normal.
Var lugn, var lugn. Ingenting, ingenting.
It's a really nice freeze here.
Den där greppar ju,
Jättebra.
tappar ju sin curl den där också.
Ja, det är någonting. Så jag tycker att det snurrar på min ordentligt nu.
Tyckte också att den min var satt okej, men
That's a really nice freeze by Camilla. So Austria and Sebastian Wunderer is going to follow this down. Want to get to the nose here. Don't really want to chip off it.
Var dina snälla, säger du.
7.
Nej, det är till.
Det gibt es nicht. Bremst ein bisschen.
That's just going to slip past everything. So a big mistake from Winderer.
Yeah, actually just
Dutta lite
a
grann
lot of
bara.
speed on that one. And Camilla just threw here, so she should have a very good idea of what the ice will do.
It's a really fast-paced game, though, so your heart rate goes up a little bit. You sit in the hack, you're thinking can't spend too much time. You kick out, and sometimes just kick out a bit too hard, so you're not 100% focused. You just want to
Rent. Var rent.
kind of get on with it.
Yeah, we've seen in both games that we've done today, the teams have been a little worried about time. They have 22 minutes of thinking time, and I think especially the teams that elect to have a sweeper rather than a skip, they will be going back and forward a little bit more, using up some more time.
Där läggs det var ungefär så.
Pretty good shot by Camilla Johansson there. Kind of leaves a bit of a stagger on the redstones. Not really easy to freeze onto anything here, but they will try and play the freeze onto the stone top 4. You can pretty much see all the face of it. So just needing to pull the strings a wee bit on this one.
Linie. Wie lang? Wow. Wow, Sebi. Wow.
4,
Wow.
Calling out 4.
Nein, nein,
5,
nie wischen, nie
5.
wischen.
I'm not quite sure what kind of system they're using for
Ja,
calling
oder?
weight. This one at least a little bit too heavy again, and we'll just go tick tick and spin out to the open. Maybe ice just quickening up a tad, and Winder not quite able to follow.
Jag vet inte, antingen dragningen dit eller Göran här, tecken.
Ja.
Spela så här, normal.
Ja.
So they've elected the hit and roll to get another red in there.
Yeah, maybe again just kind of free up the forefoot a little bit and increase the scoring area.
Och med.
I think you might see a lot of teams to me just play a draw in here, but Sweden seems like they want to keep things a little more open, and they have done that now. Kind of moves all those yellows a little further back in the house,
Var det en bra sak?
opens the whole forefoot,
Här efterhand så har de...
but still leaves those yellows in the back as catchers, so
Den här går ju ner.
might not be so easy for Austria to remove too many reds here.
No, they're definitely going to have a go at it, I think, with Karina's last shot, but
Muss ihn relativ
there's a
voll
lot
treffen,
further red to catch on.
gell? Relativ voll, denn die kommt knapp rein.
Aber es geht sich hier aus.
Aber ich glaube, dass der da nicht weiter weg ist. Also der bleibt sicher da.
Ja.
Der. Ich glaube nicht, ich glaube, der bleibt da.
Der kommt so um, der
Besser,
erste.
besser 3 als 4, einer muss weg.
I think she said that
Ja,
at least something's got to go.
Yep.
It's not easy to draw your way out of this situation either, so
I believe they are playing the hit on the top stone, and they're pretty much going to have to get to nose here to make that one go. And I think the two other reds will stick around. Maybe the back one will spin off the back hill enough for the shooter to fly for second shot, just maybe.
außen.
Depends on how well she gets this.
Weiter. Wow, 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 wow.
And this will over curl and catch the center guard. Ooh, big problems for Austria,
Der was krank.
leaving a 3 counter for Sweden, and he will be able to draw for 4.
Dieser Form ist so.
yeah, and with quite a lot of room to do it as well. All the Yellowstones are behind the
Det
tee
är
line.
samma här också.
If they can just come on to their other reds.
Håller han snurren så kanske han går
Should be
rakare,
fine.
men
Ja, men den kan få gå lite rakare också.
din dit, som det duttar lite, då minskar jag tog vitt.
Ja, jag såg det.
Ja, men jag tänkte alla insidor var ju bra också.
I think Sweden might be tricked by the thing I mentioned earlier, how if you take more ice, you might get more curl, and sometimes you might start to question if it's you and your throw rather than the ice. But see how this goes.
Yeah, it is a final shot of the second end, and Sweden with a chance for 4, but that just really grabbed onto a lot of curl, and I don't think it's going to outcount the yellow one.
Den där curlar är massvis. Farten var ju bra.
Something for the Swedes to think about,
Jag kanske slarvar lite med curlen, jag vet inte. För den där curlar är ännu mer än den
but they
första.
still did score a 3. So 2 points up for them after 2 ends. We will shortly be back with the third end.
Muss eigentlich gar nicht die Steine aufstehen, macht sie das aber. Achso, das haben wir zuerst doch.
Schon fort.
Ja. Ja, ich weiß nicht, was jetzt war. Ich habe gefühlsmäßig so langsam gespielt.
Kannst da bleiben.
Wieso? Was ist, wenn sie jetzt lang spielen?
Ich will auch wir fangen schon wieder.
Du musst spielen.
So here we go, back with the third end. And you see Pernolén, male player for Sweden. He's had some thought about how much rotation he's going to put on his out turn and what it's going to do to the weight. This one looks like it's spinning fine. And I think he's going to come all the way down to the pre-placed Yellowstone.
I think definitely that last throw in the second end to score 4 barely had any rotation on the rock. There's no surprise it was going to overcurl. This one also will overcurl just a tad. So, I'm quite sure what to do. If it is true that you take more ice, you get more curl, it's a little tricky.
Yeah, then it'll be hard to know where exactly to put the broom. You might need to adjust your release instead.
Also do a lot with sweeping, of course. Jump up and try and keep it straight for a bit. So you'll see Karina Taw having no problems. I guess finding the perfect line. That was just 2 feet heavy there. Also would have been perfect. I clocked Pernorén's draw to about 14 seconds hog to hog, so ice is pretty quick down these draw paths. Yeah. Again, it's Sweden to just get control of the top 4 here with Austria slipping deep.
Yeah, slipping deep is normally trouble in mixed doubles curling, maybe in the regular curling as well. Even more so maybe when everything just comes down to 4-foot play. Really need this top 4 foot in front of the tee line. And she will put it on the tee line. So a good shot there, uses the backing. But still a little bit of space for Austria to come down and also share the 1-foot circle.
Aufmachen.
Ja, passt.
Oder wir tappen.
Geht auch, nur eine kommen durch, ja.
Ja. Dann spiel so wie vorher, nicht ganz so lang, nur 10.
Do you like the call of tapping, Sander?
Yeah, I think you need to open up the forefeet here. You have last stone, you need to allow yourself a bit more room to score. And those red stones just going nowhere at the moment. The US term, those stones are in jail. It'll take more than 1 rock to get them out. So I'd like a tap here, but you've got to be careful not to overthrow it. If you're a little bit high here, you slip off. You're just allowing Sweden to come up on top for once more.
Andere Seite, andere
So
Seite.
be careful.
Na, nein.
Was
Gut.
jetzt?
Ja, ja, fest.
Ist auf 7, na 6.
And actually over curling.
Yeah, and she's already asked him to change sides, so it's difficult to go back and forward when you're a sweeper.
I was hoping to make contact with the other red there, the one that was higher. Winder and Tot have enjoyed playing in Sweden in the past. They played Patrik Mabergs from Sweden and the European Mixed Curling Championship and beat them 8 shots to 3. And that Swedish team, of course, ended up winning the European Mix that year. Also Winder beating Fredrik Nyman at the World Juniors same year.
So do you think that would be a mental positive thing to take into this game?
It might be, if he can remember it.
Sees the yellow and blue and he gets positive affirmations.
They're all tingly. It feels like a win today.
Nimm den Roll und vielleicht berühren wir den ein bisschen, dass sich das löst.
Ja.
Den roten, weil der ist Schock.
Per making a good point there that we should maybe talk more about where we can error with the stone that Camilla just played, saying that being heavy and chipping off wasn't really a good option. rather leave it a bit short. There is now a possibility for Austria to hit and roll in, maybe even get the separation behind the tee line as well.
Ja, Linie fest! Alles Sebi fest! Fest! Komm, komm, komm! Wow.
Well, makes the hit and roll and ends up spinning up and back. Well, a lot of yellow stones in play.
Yeah, the red one is starting to look pretty lonely, even though it's not going to be very easy to get it out of there.
Bara dit!
Ja,
Now I think they're just making a comment that they're only wanting to go top 4, not bumping, and maybe even keep it a couple of feet short, if anything, here. That red stone in the 1 foot in a pretty good spot now. Don't want to wiggle things around too much. And maybe been a bit too careful here because they're both on the sweep. Or is it coming along nicely? Just going to pull up, nibble the forfeit. I think that's pretty good there.
Ja, det är bra.
See if Austria might play this yellow-yellow combination on the right-hand side of the forfeit
de gör i och för sig tangenter.
and might just get that stone on the 1 foot going a wee bit.
Härifrån så kan de ju säkert peta en annan lite.
Yeah, it looks like they can
Was ist, wenn wir da
just
reinheizen?
squeeze it out to the side.
Dann geht der auf den da, der ist weg.
At
Der
least
geht raus und der kommt vielleicht ein bisschen
get them
raus.
some more space.
Auch wenn er noch ein bisschen rauskommt, vielleicht habe ich mit dem letzten noch irgendeinen. Aber der bleibt auf jeden Fall dann da. Und der müsste auch da bleiben.
Was ist, wenn wir mit einer Zehnerlänge auf den herfahren? Den sie umdrucken? Gangen sie aus.
Ich glaube, dass der mit der... Wenn, dann müsstest du fast hinkommen, damit der... Weil der erwischt ja noch ganz wenig. Dass der
Ja, schau, wir füßen halt, wir kommen da, kommen wir so her. Also den treffen wir ein Drittel, wenn es sein muss.
ja, eben, so wenig wie möglich müsst ihr treffen, damit der dann da nicht ankommt.
Ja, ich sag nur, wir treffen auf jeden Fall genug.
Ja, aber wir brauchen nicht zu viel treffen, aber wir müssen dann schnell genug sein. Auch wenn er nur da hält. Ja.
Ja, dann spielen wir Heck.
Selbst wenn er da ist, ja, wenn er da in die Mitte reingeht und der nach unten und der weggeht, dann haben wir am Ende vielleicht noch einen. Müssen wir schauen. Okay, dann spielen wir den, oder?
Dann haben wir jetzt hier als Nächsten. Können sie da rein, gell?
Ja, aber das... Wir müssen jetzt entscheiden.
Gotta make sure not to spend too much time here, Austria.
Ja, spielen wir den.
And I think the call we're looking at now is to move that red shot stone. It's not going to go very far, it's just going to go in the back pocket, but by doing so, I think they might move it directly underneath their own yellows, and those two yellows on the right-hand side of the forfeit might just angle completely straight onto that stone. We'll see if that is the call. My Austrian German, maybe not up to scratch, but that's what I was thinking.
Ja, Linie, fest, Linie.
Playing hack weight anyway.
Yeah, it also makes sense with what they're throwing.
Yeah.
Fest! Whoa, whoa.
Just need to get by the top one here.
And they shall. And they will be glad just in behind those yellows, and you'll see that those two yellows in the forfeit pretty much angled down onto that red stone, so very hard to get the yellow shot stone away now. I believe that was the plan for Austria.
Ja, der Matti sagen
Sweden will play the out-turn draw, come around everything, and having seen Tarnorien's out-turn, I think he'll have enough curl to bury this one.
Yeah, definitely. Camilla saying that this needs to curl, but Per is calling it a bit short, and as you see, it's really just diving into the side now.
Vad köra gjorde han?
Ja, men den var ju lite...
Men det, alltså svängen kom ju.
Ja, men den låg jättelångt ut faktiskt. Jag kanske var därför det var annan fart då. För att den låg...
Ja, wahrscheinlich, wenn du da außen drauf haust, dann geht der auf den, bleibt fix da liegen, der geht auf den, bleibt fix da liegen. Was?
Mittel, oder? So.
Ja. Und vielleicht geht der noch schlechter nachher.
Das ist ein Eis, oder?
I think this is definitely a shot for 2. They're also hoping that the red one is going to squeeze out and that the back yellow might outcount it.
Yeah, just catches top yellow, high side. And we'll see. Probably need to throw some weight to get that back zone going. And I do believe Karina Todd has thrown a heater.
Yeah, last stone of the third end. Maybe a possibility to score 3 right back for Austria. And it looks like she made it. Austria will score 3. Great shot by Karina Todd. And they will now be ahead in the game 4-3.
Wie bleibt da? Weil aufgehen muss ich nicht.
Wir müssen es sogar beeilen, gell? Wir haben noch 2 Minuten für das Ende quasi, dann bleiben wir noch Zeit.
Also sind wir auf 13 oder was?
Ja. Wir müssen jetzt mit viel Händel spielen, weil die Länge habe ich jetzt jedes Mal gehabt.
Ja. Ich glaube, es geht schon.
We've seen it many times before in mixed doubles. 3s being exchanged between the teams.
Sehr lang.
Eher lang, ja.
And it is Austria with a 4-3 lead as we
Ja, jetzt kommt er.
Boah, der bremst.
start the 4th end.
Von der Seite.
Some other games going on. Do you want to give us an update again, Sander?
Sure thing. We have Denmark now 4 shots to 1
Der war so weit außen.
over Spain. Finland really running away with it against Lithuania. They've stolen 2 and 3, so they're up now 10-0. Yes, my math is still barely scraping through. And then we have Korea at 5-0. I just think they finished an end here though, so we might get another score up on the board. And USA steals 2 on New Zealand. And now even another score up. Still a 1, so 4-0 for USA. A lot of things happening in the arena here, so hard to keep track. My apologies.
That's okay, of course. We have a very exciting game to put all of our focus on. So Austria comes a bit deep with their first. Panorin comes to the top 8 foot.
Och inte lätta än i alla fall, säger jag.
Well, here we have the time clocks, 12.5 minutes for Austria. By my calculations, if you want to follow the average of 2 minutes and 45 seconds per end, which is the average you have, 22 minutes divided by 8, you should have 13 minutes and 45 seconds left for these remaining 5 ends. So you might just be, they're a little bit behind the average, but you can easily catch up by playing all efficiently. And they still have that timeout, so that will help them in the end. But got to make sure to keep half an eye on the clock.
Eller prova trycka så här lite.
And I can say Korea stole 2 on Germany, so now they're up 5-0.
Så tjock träff som möjligt på den då. Sarg.
And Sebastian Wunders had a few draws come up heavy on this outturn side. So Camilla Noren is playing a board weight. Tried to push the yellow ones apart, really create some separation.
Kom här.
By the first and the second.
Vart lite lösare
Ja,
kanske.
det är bra det där, jättebra.
What I've always liked about the Swedish team here is they always seem to keep a positive attitude and give a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah, I think Per sometimes is a little hard on himself, gives himself a lot of tough feedback, but they're certainly very positive with each other. And it was also a fairly good shot. It's not so crowded in the forefoot. There's some space.
Yeah, well, I've seen that every time they've had the last stone, they're trying to keep a bit more room to score.
Ma, bleib stehen.
Sebastian Winder almost falling over there, I think. Karina Toth enjoying that.
Sebi! Du hast drunter.
I don't think we need to translate that. Camilla is going for the slash double here.
Rent. Ingenting. Ingenting, var med. Japp, japp. Rent. Japp,
Should be pretty close, this one. What's she got?
Ja, bra Camilla.
I think it's Sweden just sitting the one, but there's plenty of space now.
Yeah, I had to catch the back one, I think, just a tiny bit thicker to kind of spin it over the top of that back red. At least maybe enough to sit two. It was a pretty hard shot to make, though.
Yes, it was. There was definitely catchers there. And Sebastian Wunder maybe need to calm down on his weight a little bit.
Andere Seite.
Try and get this to stop a little earlier. But he also has some backing to out count the red ones.
Heb doch, da brauchst du wegen der Richtung.
But you touched both, so it's okay.
Apparently, just
Das ist so
touching the stones a little bit with the sweeping.
Du bleibst schon fast
But
sitzen.
no foul, no harm.
Ser du någonting härifrån?
Nej.
Spela hit då.
Vart ska den ligga?
Ja, så här är bra. Precis på T-line.
Ja.
Halvjump.
Ja.
So half buried on the tee line is the call. Don't really want to give Austria any more freeze opportunities.
Ja, det känns bra.
Ja, köra massvis. Ingenting. Ingenting.
27 wins in 35 games of the World Mixed Doubles for this Swedish duo. Pretty good stats.
Yeah, that's solid. Well, it has also resulted in 3 medals. Of course, Per also has a silver medal as coach in Fredericton, 2013. So Sweden sitting 1, but it is open and behind the tee line.
Länge ist gut.
With this, the final stone for Austria, they can
Länge ist sehr gut.
cut them down. Maybe just leave them a draw for one.
Wo ist er? Länge.
Länge ist sehr gut. 7.
Calling this tee line here, Karina Toth.
Außenkreis.
Jetzt hat das Handy verloren.
Losing its handle here now. I'm not sure if that was a...
Do you think they ever pushed the red one back? No, the yellow one back far enough to make the red one shot?
I don't know. My father was not an optician.
Really? Maybe you're one.
Dra då, men alltså vi kan inte putta den någonting. Vi lär ju dra till den. Finns det chans så får vi putta den ut då.
Austria. At least laying one.
And it's not going to be super easy to push that yellow one back and past the red. Panoren saying that we're going to draw to it, and if there is an opportunity, then we'll try and sweep and push it back a little. This is the last stone of the fourth end. And an opportunity for Sweden to tie the game up before the halftime break. Looks like it's going to come in fairly nice now. And he will make it for a 1. So 4 ends played, and we have a tied game for each. Teams will now have a 5-minute break. We will be back just before the second half of the game, and Sander will bring you the highlights.
Taking a look at some of the highlights in the first 4 ends of this matchup between Sweden and Austria. And in the very first end, Panoren with an outturn draw, but it will over curl, which did happen on his outturns a few times in the first half. Austria steals 1 in the first. Move ahead to the second end. It is Sweden line 3, so a much better end from the Swedes, as they're again drawing this time for 4, but again over curling on Panoren's out turn. It'll only be a score of 3, but still quite happy to be 2 up as they move into the third. And it's Austria lying 1 as Karina Todt makes an amazing shot. Little action there to wiggle the back red to score 3. And they're up by 1 after 3 ends. And in the fourth, there was maybe a chance to score 2 for Panoren, but just had to make sure to get to the face of this back yellow to score 1, and he does. So after 4 ends of play, it's a tied ball game for each.
Yes, and we are getting ready for the second half of this game. You're watching live coverage of the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship in Löfbergs Arena, Karlstad, Sweden. As you said, Sander, it's a tied game between Austria and Sweden. And there's also 4 other games going on. Would you like to update us on this course?
Sure, well, Germany is clawing back bit by bit against Korea, picking up a score of 1 in the third and a steal of 1 in the fourth, but they still trail the Koreans 2 shots to 5. Looks like New Zealand picked up a score of 2 in the fourth end, but USA is still leading 4 shots to 2. And the same scoreline between Spain and Denmark. Spain scoring 1 in the fourth, trailing by 2. The last game out there is Finland-Lithuania. We saw Finland lead 10-0 after 3 ends of play, but Lithuania picking up a score of 2 in the fourth. So trying to make history happen there.
Yeah, they took advantage of the power play and got a multiple score out of it.
Not quite sure if a team has been able to pull back from a 10-0 deficit, but if anyone knows, I'd be happy to hear about it. I'm sure when back in the day when they played 20 ends, it might feel more possible.
Demanding all sorts of movement here from Sebastian, trying to get him to switch sides, but this also coming up a bit short, so there's now a well-guarded stone in the back of the forefoot.
Yeah, when so many guards in front, really key to get the first stone into the 1 foot here. And try and make sure it's top tee. Don't want to get too deep here and allow your opponent to freeze on top of yours. So a bit of a key shot here, I think, already.
This one looking really good for line. And Camilla's done a great job.
Kanske hade räckt då.
Well, we'll slip past that pin. You'll see that tiny hole in the middle of the house. That is where, well, it's dead center of the house, actually. We'll see Austria be all cautious. They're not going to want to follow here. They have the last stone and they're wanting to keep things a little more open as well. So Sebastian Wunder playing the peel on the guards here. And this one might have overcurled early. Well spilled, these 2 guards. Leave the shooter in play, however.
Yeah, ideal would have been to roll the shooter off as well. Sweden could get another draw in here. I think we're even a little bit further out for this one.
Camilla Johansson skipped a European Curling Championships for Sweden. Record in 5-5, finishing 6th.
Gleich wie jetzt. 2 Drittel.
That was in the St. Jakob Arena in Basel.
Yeah, I remember she beat Annette Norberg in the final in Sweden to represent that year.
Ja.
I believe that was the same year Andy Schwaller made the forfeit draw against Murdoch to win it at home. And we were all in the St. Jakobshallen not too long ago for the World Men's Curling Championship. It was won by Canada.
And Austria did make the double, but they also managed to push the yellow guard in a little bit towards the center line. So it's actually an even better guard now for Sweden.
Ja, bara köra.
Vad säger du?
Kom igen.
Va?
Kom igen. Kom igen. Bra förbi. Kom igen. Bra, Camilla.
Perhaps over curling a wee bit there. We'll expose the 1 foot, and I think it's time for Austria to get in there. Before it's too late, they don't really have too many stones left. That's very different from the regular player curling, where you have 8 stones and you usually have a lot more time to bail out. In the mixed doubles, you usually only get that 1 bailout shot. If you don't make it, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
And you're very often forced to make a play into the forfeit rather than try and clear things up. We're down to the penultimate stone for Austria here, so they really need to put it in the 1 foot.
Just having a really tough day for draw weight, Sebastian Wunderer. That one will slide all the way through.
And that is surprising, seeing how he's played skip for many events in the past.
I guess you could still have a bad day
Vad vill du vara här?
with your draw weight, even if you're a skip. How much of a difference do you think it is playing the mixed doubles?
As opposed to being skip for a 4-man team.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you don't have to sweep when you're skipping a regular curling team. I think that really plays into it. The pulse is usually a little higher. You're running all over the place. It's no, it's very different. And you feel a bit more alone. You don't get the same feedback from your sweepers as you're used to. And I think for the Austrians, not having played that much together in mixed doubles, they still don't have maybe that full communication. Something that Sweden might benefit from.
And again, the handle almost coming off Pernodin's stone as he just squeaks by that. And puts another one on the tee line. So over Karlstad should maybe have just left that a little shorter.
Yeah, definitely possible for Austria to get in there. We haven't seen Pernodin under curl on outturn so far. Put it that way.
No. So it will be possible for Austria to pick up a point in the 5th end, even though right now it is Sweden line 2. She needs to find good draw weight here. She's been very, very accurate with her takeouts. Need to find the button here, Karina Tot, with the last stone of the 5th end. So calling this heavy, just hoping for it to curl enough. And I think it's 1 red.
1 red.
dann am Ende.
And they think so too.
Yeah, I think maybe just a bit of Winder's sweeping inexperience showing there a little bit. Just too aggressive on the sweep. I think it was there without those early strokes.
Yeah, tough to know though until it's too late. So in this case, it will be Sweden with a steal of 1 and a 5-4 lead after 5 ends.
Oh, that's a big number.
And we are back with the 6th end in this game between Austria and Sweden. The first in the C group. There's 7 teams in each group. 42 teams in total in the mixed doubles world championships. Panarin has been throwing a lot of out-turn draws, struggling a little bit with the line. This one's looking good. And, he's going to come all the way down to the pre-placed Yellowstone.
Det är svårt att läsa den där också när man...
Alltså, kom hon försvarsminister, fick hon styra det?
Nej, det kommer ganska tjockt ändå.
So, having watched the game so far, Sander, would you say there's momentum in any direction, or what's your take on the game?
Well, Sweden has scored in the last 2 ends. I'd say that's maybe the only momentum. And Winder maybe coming up a little heavy on a couple of draws. I think maybe momentum's tiny a bit in Sweden's corner, but it's 5-4. It's a very tight game. Austria has hammer, so it's really hard to divide them at the moment.
When would you use your power play if you were Austria?
Well, I could have used it now, to be honest, but I'm sure they're thinking to score here, allow Sweden to score in 7th and do their power play in the 8th end. But what could happen here if Austria scores maybe a single and then ends up stealing one in the 7th end, they actually won't be able to use their power play, and then they'll be 1 up, and then Sweden will use their power play and have a really good chance of scoring 2. So that's something I'm not sure all teams really think about. And if it was me, I might have used it now, just make completely sure that we can use it. Remembering, of course, you're not allowed to use the power play for the extra ends.
So after being heavy on a few draws, Sebastian Wunderer is now calling this one really short, and I think we're going to be all over the guard. Actually putting up another guard. Austria with hammer in this end. Sweden would love to get another steal in the 6th.
Lång är den?
10.
Ja. Kom med då. Kom med då. Kom med då.
Dutta lite.
Kom med då. Ja, ja. Svängde som satan där uppe.
Pair trying with a quick call at the end to stop that from curling, but
Det är samma fart på den här som...
rolls off.
Jag spelar en lösare, men...
Okej, de spelar långsamt.
And I don't think Sebastian could see quite as much as Karina was hoping of the red, so they've elected to take the weight down a little bit and try and roll in off the wide red, maybe push the shot zone a little to the side.
Wow. Ja. Wow, wow. Andere Seite. Fest, andere Seite, fest. Komm, Sebi, alles. Komm, 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 komm. Okay.
Well, it does make the hit, but I think that shooter stays pretty much in the open for Sweden to maybe punch through the hole.
Jag ser nästan hela.
Ja, lite utsida då. Normal.
Ja.
So they could play the hit and flop and underneath the guard and sit on top of their shot stone, but electing maybe a slightly more defensive call here. They're going to try and catch this here high, maybe make the double on the O's. Maybe a little safer call. They're not really bringing the guard into play playing this call.
Kom här. Ingenting. Japp, 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 japp.
Doesn't quite make both the O's fly, but leaves them sitting 3, so it'll be hard for Austria to get that yellow stone into play now, as we're down to the last stone, of course. Or am I mistaken? Penultimate stone, 2 more. Still pretty hard to bring that yellow stone into play, though.
Yeah, I think so too, even with 2 yellows to go. But it should be possible to score.
Acht,
I'm calling this one 8, but
9.
Warte, erwisch den anderen. Wow, wow, wow.
it looks like it's
Wow, wow, wow.
going fairly fast, curling big now at the end.
Well, not exactly Wunderbar from Wunderer. And chance for Sweden, I think, to play the draw and sit 2, but they are looking again at the hit, just safer option.
På den också, eller?
Yeah, I don't really see a big risk with playing the draw. But then again, I don't think Per has been particularly comfortable with his draws either.
Especially in the outturn.
Yeah.
Då slår du fast den med den. Men lite utsida så glider man hit.
But
Vicka lite hit.
Ja, då har man ju rygg.
I also think
Prova på att få... han får
if you
chatt på
stick
möjligt.
one yellow
Gör ingenting
and
med
then
Vicka
roll
in
out,
heller.
do you ever leave a double and maybe a chance for 2?
It's possible.
Du kan ju ta mycket utsida Utsvall.
Ja, vi har jättemycket utsida. Vi
Big
kan
weight
inte
from Panoden here. That was an interesting
komma en liten...
Ja.
result. Definitely a bit wide. And they are sitting 2, kind of spun that shooter back up, but the question is, can Austria ever come to the inside here and make the double score
Ja, den
3, 2?
Auf 2G.
Can't see who's lying 4th shot at the moment. But
No,
Ich habe nur 2G mit den Langfinger.
I think by looking at Karina, she doesn't see that much of it. So you can also see that time clock's up there, 6 minutes and 55 seconds for Austria to go for 2 ends.
I think that's plenty, actually.
That should be fine. Say they've caught up on their time. So this will be a chance to score 2, possibly 3 if it's lined up absolutely right. Needs to come as much to the inside as possible.
Jetzt von der anderen Seite. Fest, 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 fest. Sehr schön.
And she makes a really good shot again. It's, in great form with the takeout play today, Karina.
Sorry.
And I think it's a score of 2 for Austria. That would put them back in the driver's seat. Scoring in the even ends is also good in mixed doubles curling as well as in regular curling. So with 2 ends to go, it's Austria 6 and Sweden 5.
Ska vi byta ordning då?
So welcome back for the 7th end of play, where Sweden have now elected to use their power play.
Viel Eis, viel Eis.
Yep, power play is one of those new rules of the season that I really like. It kind of changes up things a whole lot. Sweden will get to move
Sehr langsam, das sehr langsam.
what initially is a center guard and a stone on the back 4 out to the wing. They'll have a corner guard and the stone will be directly behind it, top of the tee line. Really benefits the team with last stone, and it's a good chance to score 2, maybe even 3. So obviously Austria looking to kind of move that corner guard. They're not allowed to play a hit yet, but they're playing the tick shot. And this one actually overcurled a little bit for them, but has at least moved the corner guard somewhat. As you'll see that red stone slightly exposed.
Yeah, but they won't be allowed to hit it quite yet. And first it's going to be Per Norén to try and get another one in behind the guard.
Ja, om du vill.
And they are now electing to play to the other side. 63% for Per Norén is not maybe all the way up there where he's used to being. Okay for mixed doubles.
Well, I think this is maybe a tad defensive.
Yes, 1 point down, you might want to see them go for 3.
They know that Austria can't play the hit yet, though, but still, kind of like to draw around the corner.
Yeah, this is when it gets a little frustrating with that you're not allowed to hit.
Linie. Wie lang?
67% from Sebastian Wunder, just out curling Per Norén by
Nur
a
Länge ist
fraction.
vorbei. Fix vorbei.
And
Wow, wow, wow.
he's
Nicht
going to
Linie.
need to try and outdraw with a freeze here instead of hitting anything. And,
Nice.
that's a really, really good shot. Struggling a bit for draw weight, but makes up for it right there.
I believe he said just finally made a good one there, Sebastian. It was a key shot, actually, for the send. Trying to make sure Sweden can score big here with their power play. Maybe try and force Sweden to take their 1. They'll be tied up, and then Austria can use their power play in the last end.
Japp! Japp! Japp!
Lille kopp.
Hela vägen!
Kom
This one is pulling up quite short. And we'll just bounce off the guard a wee bit. It'd be very hard for Sweden to get to that yellow shot stone at the moment. And Austria just playing a little safe. Just going to hit the open one. There's nothing really, not a whole lot to do.
No, for Austria to give up 1 or maybe even 2 in this end would still be fine for them. They can also use the power play in the 8th end.
Problem for me is still drawing to the wing there with, for Sweden, allowing Austria to come around the corner and make that freeze. If they've made that draw themselves, top 8, that shot wouldn't be available to them. And it will make a perfect little roll into the 8-foot to outcount that red stone as well. Just kind of shrinking the rings a little bit for Sweden. A couple of good shots there.
So we'll need to adjust the weight a bit here, Camilla Norén. Get a good draw in behind the 2 corner guards.
Japp. Japp. Rent. Var rent. Var rent. Japp. 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 Ja, bra Camilla.
And she makes a really good one. I believe she's fully buried and also shot stone.
Okay. Langsam, das gut. Wohin müssen wir den aber?
Willst du den vorbeispielen, oder? Oder willst du drüber gehen? Ich würde vorne drüber gehen, und sonst ist es offen.
Vorbei komme ich nicht mit einem
Nein,
langsamen.
nein, das geht nicht.
Nie.
Mittel so?
Ja, es ist offen.
Mittel so und sonst ist es offen. Ja.
Ja.
You're gonna run the yellow guard straight back, as they can't get to the red shot stone in the rings.
Das ist ein bisschen viel Eis, oder?
Mit, so?
Ja, so passt.
Wo? Wo? Innen. Ja. Ja.
Well, I believe they were looking for the run back, but I think that was always the tolerance just to peel the guard and open up that shot stone. All right, Sweden's going to draw the wing again, try and use that yellow stone to the left of our screen, freeze onto it and sit 2.
And now we're looking at a more traditional end of curling, where you just try and split the rings to make sure that you can score your juice.
Japp. Lång är han.
Japp.
Japp.
Yes!
Vad tar jag då?
Well, maybe running out of rings here. Had the perfect weight, just either didn't have enough ice there or just a bit loosey-goosey on the outturn.
Nej,
Jag tänkte, hur mycket is hade vi på min då?
jag vet inte.
Jag tycker ändå 10. Sporten är jättebra, men jag tycker ändå 10 håller de här uppe. Jag tänkte de hade det samma is som mig.
And now it's really coming into good use, the fact that Austria peeled off the corner guard, because the red shot stone is wide open.
Oh, wo außen? Also nach außen. Ja, volle.
Kommt er?
Ja, nicht genug.
Oh, and this is really wide. And she's going by everything. And so Sweden will still have a chance to score 2. Some drama here in the 7th end.
Oh, we like some drama.
We sure do.
Certainly had some drama in the first game earlier today, where it looked like Russia were running out of time. 0 seconds, it said, under clock when the last stone was thrown. But Carly just made the pass to T-line and pushed the game into an extra with a great double. Well, Scotland picking up the win on that occasion. Don't think the teams are struggling too much for time in our future game here this evening, though.
No, it looks like they will have plenty, as Pärnoren has thrown the last stone of the 7th end. Now just needs this to be full 8 foot for them to score 2. Just swinging really big here. Both of them just giving it their best, but it will be too short, and it will only be a score of a 1 for Sweden. And the game will be tied before the 8th and possibly final end of the game. Well, if it's tied, it will be the final end of the game. It's Sweden, Austria, 6 points each.
Jag tycker att jag har ju inte det flytet som var första 2.
Nej, men hur känner du att du släpper den här?
Jag tycker att jag gör rätt.
Ja.
Nästan ger på den lite.
Ja.
Och skjuter, den kommer inte ens nära att komma fram. Så det är det som förvånar mig. Ja. Om banan är så pass liten redan.
So this will be the final end of the game. And Austria's been playing it smart, waiting and waiting, and now they are going to make use of their power play.
Power play. Yeah, well, we had that in the previous end. We'll see if Austria can make more or better use of it. Sweden did end up having a draw for 2, but that's because the Karina Todt missed an open hit. It'll be interesting to see what Sweden does with their first stone here. If they will like to go for the tick shot, throw the center guard, throw the freeze on the yellow, or a stone in the forfeit. So far, that's the options I've seen so far. Maybe even come around and tap the yellow stone out the rings, but not out of play. It's a very cheeky call.
I think in this situation, you just need to look at it as you would any game of curling. Throw the center guard, make sure that you have good protection, then come around it. They're going to need to steal.
Well, that is true. So some of those options just mentioned are not the best. Ticking the guard, for example, is only good if you're trying to prevent your opponent from scoring big, while Sweden doesn't really have anything to lose here, trying to steal. So we might see them even throw 2 center guards. Well, we'll see.
Satt en blå tuss under sten.
Was there some blue felt or something underneath the stone?
Yeah, I just think there's a little frustration with the fact that he hasn't really gotten his draws in place. He's normally a really, really solid player when it comes to, well, both draws and hits, but we've seen him put the first freeze on the pin so many times.
You know, that's what I remember from when the stone just back a button. He would always make that perfect freeze right on the 1 foot every time. And they would really steal a lot of points doing it. Tick shot called by Austria. Move this red stone over. Pärnoren trying to sweep it out of play, and it will bounce off the boards. So that's a free guard zone violation, and that stone will be put back.
Short.
So I'm just trying to put it back to where
I think it was
That's
more,
supposed to be.
To the house, yeah.
closer to the house.
It's okay.
Yeah. Kick off it.
And they all agree. We need to bring the umpires into it. Fair play. They're able to do this as many other things by themselves between the teams. It's a good thing about our sport.
Yeah, it seems to have been a very friendly game overall. We've seen some good chat between the teams, which is nice, of course.
Of course, if there was a disagreement, they could ask the umpires for advice.
Yep, and that guard, the center guard that Sweden just threw, is a little in between. It's not very high, it's not super close, so they've elected to come around it straight away.
I'd be tempted to throw maybe a tight guard there. And if I was Austria, I might have been tempted to maybe come after the shot stone and move it, perhaps. Guard's not in a super good spot at the moment. How many stones in play? Are we counting?
There are
One.
4 stones in play, and well, do you remember there's also one that's been played through?
Aha.
Ja, fest!
So they are allowed to play the hit now.
Yes.
Our apologies.
Fest, gib ihm fest!
That's when that counting this number of stones in play didn't work.
No, and it's been your strategy all along, Sander.
We'll make the appeal on the center guard. Sweden will have that stone in the 1 foot. They'll just be looking to guard that throughout the end, really. It's a bit tough to throw those center guards perfectly.
Lite risk på den där.
I saw Bruce Mowat make a lot of nice out-turn guards in a row
Bara stanna.
earlier this morning.
Bara stanna.
Well, this one from Camilla Johansson will just overcurl and kind of in no man's land there. And I think it'd be worth to go after the shot stone if I was Austria now, seeing how a draw around that guard would leave Austria a lot more room to score than where that shot stone's lying currently. I believe we have a final score. Finland picks up a win against Lithuania. 13 shots to 3. Quite dominant performance from Toni Rantamäki.
Ja, innen. Ja, fest. Fest, Sibi, fest, da muss ihn berühren. Fest, fest, komm.
Try and do the other scores too if we can. Ooh, just able to move that red stone over.
It's okay.
We'll have Denmark leading Spain 6 shots to 3. It is USA with a stronghold over New Zealand. I believe that game is actually over as the teams are now just heading back. USA had an 8 shots to 3 lead before the 7th end, and it looks like a 4 score of 4 for USA as they will win that game 12 shots to 3. The last game to mention is Korea, Germany. And Germany really on a stealing path. They've stolen 3 consecutive ends in a row. So only down by 1 now after Korea was up 5 after 2 ends. So interesting battle on sheet Echo. Back to our game, Sarah.
Yes, it was Sebastian Wunder not quite able to push the red shot stone out. So Sweden's going to try and draw another one in there. The guard isn't really on the center line. And this one also a little short and over curling.
Oj, dubbla
I
ömmar
don't
på
think
sig.
it's too bad there, though.
No?
It's definitely something Sweden could draw around. And now it looks like Austria changing tactics, thinking if they peel the guard here, Sweden will come around that stone, maybe half buried, or they have to
Ja, Timeout.
throw a draw to the button to win. So they're thinking to maybe get in there first. Now they called a timeout to have a better think about it.
Aber dann schmiert Ehrmann rein.
I believe we'll have Ole Kapp come out for this little interaction.
Wie hast du die Länge? Wir können noch den wegnehmen. Dann schmieren wir den vorn vielleicht ab. Wenn wir einen Takeout spielen und den vorn berühren.
Ja. Na, hat eher gemacht, die Guard weg.
Das würde ich nicht machen. Das würde ich, weil dann legt er mal da einen her und was machen wir? Ja,
Dann können wir den wegfahren.
entweder
Doch
Draw
ganz
oder
gut. Mitte ist offen. Haben wir ganz gut. Ich würde jetzt, wir haben noch 2 Steine. Ich würde schauen, dass wir jetzt Shot sind. Dass ihr seid wirklich vorne den Bereich jetzt hier einfach anspielen. Also Front vor, wenn er den Vierfuß kratzt, ein bisschen Winkel hat, weil sie kann von der Seite spielen, aber dann hast du wieder die Seite offen. Du hast immer die Draw-Seite offen. Aber ich würde jetzt setzen.
Daher.
Ja. Genau. Okay?
kein Stress.
Selbe Zeit.
Seems like Oli Cap likes the out-turn draw. I wonder if he was, I thought he was saying something about
So viel braucht er.
them having the out-turn draw open. So even if they don't make this shot, there's still a good chance I'll have a draw on the out-turn to win the game.
Yeah, there's definitely still a bit of space on that side. Sebastian Wanderer now
Lang?
trying to
die
get
Länge ist
shot
gut.
stone.
Klar sind sie wieder lang. Lang. Wow.
One more stone to come from Sweden after this. And once again, they're calling this heavy, and it's just gonna fly past the tee line and all the way through.
That's not even close, to be perfectly honest, Sarah. I've seen that a few times from Sebastian Wanderer today, as Sweden also calling their timeout.
I och för sig, den här är för öppen. Hade den där
Ja,
varit
men
bättre?
jag tänker så här. Jag har en liten tanke. Antingen får man känna den här farten. Har han styr det så här, så styr den gard där. Men farten ska vara hit. Men tar i den lite så hamnar här. Jag funderar på om vi vill spela en hit.
So coach Mikael Andersson
Inte
has
för långt ner för
made its way to the ice.
spela här, men gå, alltså vi ska smita hit då.
Ja.
Styra lite i den, om vi styr lite i den då så vi hamnar här.
Det är så mycket sväng på slutet, så man har linjen att är den lite kort, stanna mitt på vitt.
Ja, den,
Eller halvgömma på blått.
ja.
Så att det är ju den marginalen. Där ja.
Den ska i alla fall in som tvåa sten.
Ja. Och
Helt
har
klart.
den då farten och fine, men inte längre än 10 då. Men här,
Jag får göra en...
som längst dit. Som
Minst.
längst dit.
Ja,
Och linjen bakåt är okej.
stannar han här så är det helt okej.
Ja, precis.
Men jag är inne på att han hellre petar lite så att vi skymmer där lite grann.
Ja, men det tycker jag. Det låter bra tycker jag.
Och 4 minuter till att fundera på.
Nej, men jag tycker vi gör den. Jag tycker vi ska spela så snart vi känner att vi...
Men du, nu satt ju någon i skiten med åttan på hållet. Känns det som att det kanske är samma fart hit ändå?
Ja, det tror jag att det är. För i och med att jag spelade min lösare och den hamnade ju
Men
där.
jag tänkte, jag hade ju den här. Här hade jag på dig. Är inte det liten?
Ja.
So I believe the call is to draw to the top of the 8-foot, try and choke the draw off for Austria. And they said if they get a little more curl, we have seen them get a little more curl on occasions, they can try and drag it to sit a good shot stone half buried on the 4-foot.
Yeah, it seemed like they were kind of concerned about maybe splitting that stone top 12 to cover the shot stone, thinking Austria might play the in-turn to get down onto that stone, but I think you should be more worried about just choking off the out-turn draw here. I'd probably put my stone just top 8, maybe on the left-hand side as we see it now, to just really make the draw awkward. But this draw from Parnoren looking heavy. Just saw one sailing past here just moments ago, and this one as well will be nowhere close.
Ja, ledsen Camilla.
And I wonder if Karina Toth has a few things spinning around her mind now, thinking, I've just seen 2 stones being pumped through here. What's the speed like?
Yeah, she has been really, really good with her hits. Made some great ones, so she's gonna go for the shot stone. Just punch it out. They are sitting second, so she doesn't even need to stick her shooter around. So this will be the final stone of the game. It's an in-turn takeout from Karina. And it's all whoa. I think we just heard him saying it is good, and it is. Austria will score 2 and pick up their first win against Sweden in first game of the C group.
Well, Wowie, that was an interesting game. It was close fought. It was an important one. 2 of the best teams in that group, and really key win for Austria. As you can see, their jubilation. It's all about Olympic points as well, not only just winning the World Championship, but getting to the Olympics. Only 7 spots available, having Korea as host nation, grabbing one of those 8 spots. That is the scoreline for you. 8 shots to 6 for Austria. We'll have Sarah run down and have a chat with the winning team. As well, we'll have some highlights for you in just a short while. We'll run through the scores with you one more time. We had New Zealand being thoroughly beaten by USA, 12 shots to 3 on sheet B. And we also saw Finland beat Lithuania, 13 shots to 3. I believe the Spain-Denmark game came to a conclusion, and although not official, it did seem like Iranzu Garcia was upset with her last stone, so that might have been a win for Denmark. There's only one game left out there, as you'll see in the right of our screen. It's Germany playing Korea. We're down to the last few stones, and it's Korea up by 2. Germany has the last stone advantage and have utilized their power play, but currently not looking like they are scoring too big. Just sitting the 1 at the moment. We'll have some highlights for you now from our future game. Sweden, Austria. It's the first end of play. Austria lying 1 top of the 8-foot. It's Per Norén for Sweden. Looking for the outturn draw, but will over-curl and catch that yellow shot stone. A steal of 1 for Austria after 1 end of play. In the second end, things were shaping up nicely for the Swedes. They're already lying 3 as Per Norén again throwing his last stone. Having some difficulties with the outturn today, though. Over-curling will catch the top red, and it will not outcount the back yellow, but still good for 3. Up by 2 after 2 ends of play. In the third, it's Austria lying 1. And it's Karina Toth with an amazing shot, and she will play a little rumble to actually nudge that back red to score 3. Austria up by 1. In the fourth end, Per Norén was maybe looking to get to the inside of this yellow, see if he could score 2, but certainly made sure to get the 1, and he does. It's all tied after 4. Coming back onto the ice after halftime, we would see Sweden lying 2. Per Norén again over-curling the outturn, leaving Karina Toth a chance to get in there for a single. But an early sweep from Sebastian Winderer just kept it a bit too straight, and there would be a steal of 1 for Sweden as we move ahead to the 6th end. Karina Toth again with another key shot here. We'll get to the inside of this redstone, punch over the second. That's good enough for 2. Another great shot by the Austrian. And they are up by 1 after 6. In the 7th end, Sweden lying 1. It's a fully open house as Sweden have use their power play. Parnarén trying to hit the 8-foot for 2, but will pull up way short. Again, struggling with that out turn. It's tied coming into the final end. And in the 8th end, it was Sweden throwing their last stone through the house, allowing Carina Todd to make a hit on this open red stone to win the game. A great start for Team Austria at the World Championship. 8 shots to 6 final score. So we're just waiting for the Austrian duo to head off the ice so we can have a little chat with them and see how and what they're thinking. I can tell you that Denmark did beat Spain 6 shots to 5, and I believe Germany has a chance to score 2 and push their game into an extra. But now we have the Austrians ready for you.
So that was the first game of the World Championships of this year. What can you tell us about your start?
Actually, we were quite nervous in the beginning because it's our first Worlds together, and then to play against such a good team in Sweden, against Sweden, it was quite nerve-wracking. But then, yeah, we kind of turned it around in the end and started to play a little better, and yeah, it was great.
What was it that made you turn it around?
She turned it around. She took the major part in turning the game around. Well, I don't know. We stayed focused, and yeah,
I think we
weren't that nervous in the second part of the game, I think, and we made some important shots.
So finally, how much of an advantage is it that you saved that power play until the last and final end?
I think that was very important. We're not very experienced with playing mixed doubles, so we didn't really know when to use the power play, but I think it's really important that you keep it until the last 2 or 3 ends, because normally if it's really close until the 6th end, then it's of course a tactical thing when you use the power play, and if you still have it, that's just a good thing, and I think we made the right decision today.
Yeah, you definitely did. Congratulations. Thanks. And good luck, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Starting off 11:15 local time here in Karlstad, we'll have Samba curling as Brazil takes on Estonia. So please join us again tomorrow.